Well everyone, 2019 was our first year of full-time RVing, and what kind of adventures did we have? We spent 6 months hiking the Appalachian Trail and got trail names Lolli and Pop. Well, we started our yearly adventure at Crystal Hill in Arizona. After just hanging out and boondocking for 6 weeks in the Sonora Desert, we figured it was time to head east. And we figured that Big Bend National Park would be a great place to do some shakedown hikes, and one of the first ones was to the hot springs on the Rio Grande. After the Texas Caverns of Sonora, we headed towards Dallas-Fort Worth to see Sidney and Kelly Mayhew. Sidney actually built his own airplane, so we decided to go up, and it had been close to 20 years since I've been flying in a small airplane. And of course, while in Texas, you have to go fishing. The first weekend of March, we attended the Appalachian Trail through hiker kickoff. That was at Amicola Falls. And then on March 9th, we picked up our AT Northbound guide and started on the trail. I attempted the trail in 1978. This was my pack back then, and this is my pack now. The first of our many beautiful sunrises, and of course our very first trail magic, a Purple Haze beer. As we made it into North Carolina and Mount Albert, the 100-mile point, we ran into our very first snow on the top of Standing Indian Mountain. Well, now it's April, so it must be time for the Smoky Mountains. After a nice warm shower comes the best thing about going into town: town food. Easter was spent with a family in Irwin, Tennessee at an Airbnb. It was sure great having the get together. When people ask us what our most favorite part of the trail was, Tim and I always say it was the Grayson Highlands, and the ponies were just part of it. The flowers were starting to bloom, and most important, we reached the 500-mile point. And this also is where we met up with our new family, Tri and Peabody. We hiked with them for several hundred miles. After several days of hiking with bugs, it was time for a break in Woods Hole. We believe this was the best hostel on the trail. Another area we really enjoyed was Central Virginia. The Pfeffer Oak, McAfee Knob, Dragon's Tooth, and Tinker Cliffs. All a great place to hike. The 1st of June brought some family issues, so Lolli had to go back to Spokane for about a month, and I continued on up into Rocksylvania. All right, Lolli is back, and now it's time to go to New Jersey. Well, July 4th found us in New Jersey, and we met up with a college buddy of mine, an ex-B-52 pilot, Al Green, and his wife, Diana. One of the best things about the trail is being flexible. I never thought that we'd be camping out in a drive-in. The summer heat wave got to us, so we rented a car, drove back to Pennsylvania, picked up our camper, and moved it to Maine. Back on the trail in Vermont, and pretty soon we will be in New Hampshire. Once we got to the Whites, a lot of the trail was actually climbing and not hiking, but we really enjoyed it. Well, we're coming up South Twin. Clouds have moved in. We got our rain gear on. We're almost to the top. And then we got 6 more miles today, but it's almost all downhill. There's Lolli. Say hi, Lolli.
Hi, Lolli.
After the White Mountains, it was time for another break, and we decided to have some Maine food, and we did a reunion with the 69th Bomb Squadron with Loring Air Force Base. I can't believe it. We've made it to Abel Bridge, and now it's time for the finale on Mount Katahdin. Well, Lolli's and my very first camping trip was to Baxter State Park, and here's a picture from 1982. I don't think she's changed much at all.
Whoa! Woo! Yeah! Good job!
One purchase we did make was an Appalachian Trail map. So what we did was we put pins in every place we stayed every night. It makes a great wall display. The pins sure were close together when we went through the White Mountains. The most interesting side hike we took was to the Ghost Trains of Maine. It is a must thing to do for hikers. Another side trip was to visit Tri in New York City. One of the things I'd always wanted to do was to go to Gettysburg, so we finally made it. By far the best way to see the battlefield is on foot, so we hiked for over 4.5 miles. The next Civil War battlefield to see was Antietam. We have a membership to Harvest Host, so this lets us camp at a lot of different wineries on the East Coast. On the drive south to North Carolina for the fall colors, we stopped at many other military history, such as the USS North Carolina, Fort Sumter, and Fort Fisher. And of course, more stops at wineries and drinks with friends. The northern terminus of the Florida Trail is actually at Fort Pickens, so of course we had to make sure that we visited there also. Since not all natural wonders are above ground, we stopped at Carlsbad's Cavern and actually took an underground tour. By October, we were hiking in the Grand Canyon and the Arizona Trail, and of course, taking in some more beer. In mid-November, we stored the camper in Arizona, spent a night in Las Vegas, and made it to the family in Spokane by Thanksgiving and Christmas. Well, everybody, 2019 sure was a very special year. So now it's time to get rid of the hiker look and get to a new look for 2020. Well, I want to thank all of our followers with Fun with the Facklers on the Appalachian Trail, and look out for 2020. More adventures are to follow.